So we have the conference tournament, the championships tomorrow, and we've already had some happen. Boise State won, Army won. Good job for them. Who was Jacksonville? Jacksonville State won. Blew out Western Kentucky. Good job. But we got the big ones today, and it's like 1:13 when I'm recording this. Again, yeah, I've been busy a lot, so and will continue to be. So whenever I can create videos, I will. But we have four main conference championships tomorrow: Big 12, Big 10, SEC, ACC, and honestly, the most important one is the last one right there. So we'll start off with talking about the Big 12. I doubt a lot of people would have expected Arizona State to make it here. Josh Pate, shout out to him for talking about Iowa State early in the year. He was saying that throughout the summer, and guess what? They're here now. They're here. Good job for getting that right. Iowa State has had again a lot of Big 12 teams have had upsets happen here and not. Overall, they've been a pretty good team, consistently in the top 25 throughout the year. Arizona State came out of kind of nowhere. They beat Utah, then people kind of forgot about them, and then they just showed back up and beat BYU. So it's kind of like, okay, we'll see what happens there. Honestly, I don't know a ton about these teams. I really don't. I was not expecting Arizona State. I've not watched much of Arizona State. But what I do know about Arizona State is that they're good. And at Iowa State, they're also good. That's why they're here. I know. Incredible, incredible details from me. Based off vibe alone, I like Iowa State to win this game. I don't know why. We're going to go with them, though. The other teams I do know more about. So let's go with Iowa State for this one. There you go. Bet on that. Bet on that line. Next up, let's discuss the Big Ten. You got Penn State, who's played nobody, playing against Oregon, who's played a lot of somebodies, and have done very good against those teams. Both teams have played Ohio State. One team beat them, one team didn't. I guess you could know. I guess you could tell, based off just record alone, who that one team that has a victory against Ohio State is. The undefeated team, Oregon. It wasn't like a blowout win. It was very, very close, but a win's a win in the end of the day. And that's something that James Franklin can never do against Ohio State. Him in big games, really sketchy. You look at Penn State's schedule, you'd be shocked by how easy it is. Your biggest game they have on their schedule was a game against Illinois, if you take away the Ohio State game, and they were at home when they played them. Outside of that, you might have to say at West Virginia. That's the toughest game. I don't know how this team is third in the country with this type of resume. It makes no sense. Notre Dame's is better. At least they had to go to Kyle Field. At least they beat an Army and Navy team that have been very good. Army just won their conference championship by a ton. They have one loss to Notre Dame and they blew them out. Like, that's impressive. Notre Dame's, I believe, this is the best team they've produced in a long time. They had that terrible loss at IU. But, again, that sometimes happens. Not often, but Marcus Freeman happens a lot. But this team's honestly pretty good, Notre Dame is. Penn State, no. I don't trust this team. They went to overtime against USC. Like, this team is nothing special. I don't see nothing great with this team. The only thing they didn't have to do was play Michigan. If they played Michigan, they'd have been 10-2 because they suck in any important rivalry games or big games in general. And they're playing in the Big Ten Championship. Last time they played in the Big Ten Championship was with Saquon Barkley. That was a while ago. They won that game, though. So it's possible. Very possible. I do like Oregon in this one, though. I think Dillon Gabriel is playing at a great level. He is the best quarterback in the Big Ten. Without a doubt. I think Oregon's run game is also very, very good. Their defense has stepped up very well this year. The offensive line, how this year started, was very pathetic, and then it ramped up very well throughout the year. So good job for Oregon on that. And I just think they're a better team. They're number one for a reason. They're very talented. I have no reason not to pick them in this game. I mean, James Franklin has shown literally nothing the past 5 years on a big game basis on why we should pick him. Take the year out of Saquon Barkley. He's done nothing at Penn State worth notable. But I still like him because he has a 1 year with Saquon Barkley and Trace McSorley and all that group. But he's not beat anyone else. Like, he can't win big games. Even last year they lost Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl. Like, in big games he loses. This is going to continue that. They've not played a team worthy of Oregon, like close to Oregon at all. outside of Ohio State. Tyler Warren, though, will have to be big for Penn State if they win a chance to win. The guy's a monster. Nick Singleton's have to do good. They need some consistently good run games. But Tyler Warren might have to go for like 200 yards like he did against USC, which is insane for a tight end to get 17 catches and get over 200 yards. Like, that never happens. For wide receivers, that doesn't happen, let alone a tight end. The guy's amazing. Penn State's going to have to step up a lot defensively. I just don't see that. I really don't. Next up, SEC. Yeah, Texas versus Georgia. We actually have seen this matchup. Like, I think this is the only matchup out of the main four that is a duplicate. We've seen this before. And guess what happened? Georgia won by 15 at Texas. I'm not going to be surprised if that happens again. Like, Etienne should be back. He went for 3 touchdowns against them last time they played. And I just don't trust a Quinn Ewers quarterback in big games. I don't. He makes mistakes in big moments in games. Last year against Alabama is a whole other thing. I believe, honestly, that he made 2-3 big throws. Outside of that, I mean, those are big things. Their defense did a very, very good job against Alabama last year. Take away that, he's missed up on some opportunities in big moments, especially this year. Georgia, when he played him, bad performance. Arch Manning got put in. Like, it got bad because they couldn't block well, but also he was just fumbling the ball, did not make right decisions. And against A&M, he made some good plays, but he gave them the only points of the night directly. He gave it to them. Like, it was a pick six. Yeah, like, can't be doing that. You cannot give Georgia opportunities. You cannot do that. As a Tennessee fan, I would know. We know that all far too well. It's in Georgia. It's in Atlanta. They have home field advantage. I know Texas can travel well, but a passionate Georgia fan base can almost outdo any other fan base in the country. And it's in their state. Like, they're going to be there. Georgia's defense is going to need, I don't think they're going to need a performance quite like they had at Texas, but it wouldn't hurt. What Beck's got to do is not throw 3 interceptions and have no touchdowns. If he can have a day like what he had against Tennessee, which is a very good defense within themselves, they blocked phenomenally against them. And I was a bit surprised. But Beck pieced them up. But it starts with the blocking. Can they block well? That's a huge question. I think they're going to be able to. Can Texas block well? That's a huge question. I don't trust them as much. I trust Kirby Smart in big games more than I trust Steve Sarkisian. I just do. I don't trust Steve Sarkisian in big games yet. Like last year, they won the Big 12 championship. Yeah, against Oklahoma State, that had like a backup quarterback in at the time. That wasn't much. That was not impressive. They beat Bama, yeah. Then he lost to Oklahoma. That was a solid team. Lost to Washington. Then you have the A&M game this year. You have the Georgia game before he lost. He's not solidified as a great big game coach, in my opinion. You have to win big games in the playoff. You have to win conference championships for that label to be there. He's a very, very good coach. But big time, like Harbaugh for a while was not known as a big time winning coach because he couldn't beat Ohio State. Once he won and then won a Big Ten championship, then he was that. And he's just sustained that forever. And that's why he's loved in Michigan now. Because of that. You have to do so. And I don't think that starts this year. I think that the Georgia Bulldogs will win the SEC championship again. I know they didn't win last year, but it felt like they did. And then it's just been Bama, Georgia, type of thing. It's weird how that stuff works. I was just thinking about past SEC championships. Bama owned it for a while. It's happy this has kind of changed, but it's Georgia now. And yeah, I think Georgia will win this game. I don't have really a score prediction. I just think they will win, and it will probably be more than just a touchdown. I don't think Arch will play in this game unless if Quinn gets hurt, which is not far out of possibilities. And yeah, I just don't see Texas winning this game. I'd be shocked if they can block well against Georgia. I know they can learn from their past mistakes, but 7 sacks? That was a rampage. There was no hope. And Texas is also favorited. And you know what happens whenever Georgia has a slight bit of an underdog? They take it and run with it. Kirby does that. He does a great job of it. And Bama's the only team that seems to be able to counteract that. Because it's Bama and they're scared of Alabama. I mean, most fan bases are. Georgia especially. And then we have SMU versus Clemson. Clemson recently in big games have had a lot of close ones outside of Georgia. But that's, again, Georgia kills teams usually. Especially, that was also way early on in the year. For the past few weeks, they've had like Pitt. That was really close. You had the game against South Carolina, which you let slip through your fingers, literally and figuratively. Then you have SMU, who's been on a roll. He also played Pitt, beat him by like 30. On paper, this looks like an SMU victory. But also you have the problem of Dabo Swinney in a big game, an ACC championship. He doesn't really lose those. He really doesn't. And they have to win this game to make the playoff. If they win this game, it kicks Bama out. Because you can't put a team that has 2 more wins than the other team, and that was already ahead in the rankings, behind them now. Like, you can't. SMU would have 11 wins. You can't just change that. You just can't. I don't think that's possible. I think if Clemson wins, Bama's eliminated. If SMU wins, Bama's in. I know. If I'm a Bama fan, if you're a Bama fan, you're heavily rooting for the SMU. I was like, Mustangs? You're rooting for them. SMU has been able to move the ball extremely well. Compared to how they started off this year, in a very close game against Nevada, their offense is heavily improved, and their defense has overall not been bad at all. They've been able to beat these teams that some people in ACC have had problems with, like Miami, and Clemson at times. But they've been able to, like Louisville. They beat Louisville. That's a pretty solid win. Their only loss is to BYU, who's a good team. That's a good team they have. And especially that part of the year, they were a really, really good team. I still think they are, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't. This is a toss-up. This is the closest game, in my opinion, for me to pick. I want to say SMU, and I also want to say Clemson. If I had to trust a situation, Dabo's not been doing great in big games recently without using that transfer portal. It's not helping him out. I got the Mustangs. I got SMU winning this. Comment your own opinions about this. I'm also kind of just hoping Bama, I don't know if I want to see Bama in the playoff, but I also like to see Notre Dame lose. And I would suspect that Notre Dame would be like the 5 seed or 5 or 6 seed, and they'd have to play Bama, and that'd be kind of fun to watch. Just saying. So yeah. Put in the comments your opinions about this. Hope you have a great day, y'all. Stay safe. And remember, God bless y'all.